Tell me when I should start talking.
Go for it, David.
Okay. And as I did last time, you weren't here, Mike, but we don't do the pledge on the Zoom, but I just wanted to remind people of the closing words of that, which I think are very relevant. With indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, based on that, now we'll jump into the agenda.
And Aubrey is here.
Hi, Aubrey.
Hello.
Hey, Aubrey. Hi, Aubrey.
Oh,
Okay, we'll go first, the minutes from the last board meeting. The trustees have gotten copies of that. And it was a good meeting. And everything we did is indicated in the minutes. Does anybody have any comments regarding the minutes from July 22nd? No additions, corrections, deletions, nothing of that nature. So that being the case, the minutes will stand approved, and we'll go on to something else. Okay. The first thing we'll discuss is the water adjustment that was requested at the last meeting. Joe McDonald's request, he was on the Zoom meeting last time, and I think you've all gotten copies of the numbers that are involved now since the billing came out. And we need to decide what we want to do in terms of water relief. Who wants to start the conversation?
Well, I guess I will. Only from the fact that last time you mentioned utilizing the formula. I have done so, and it's there on Dropbox for you to see. He also sent an email that think you all need to, it's there on Dropbox as well, to please review that in the whole token of the whole consideration of this water relief. So I put the one page out there which has the calculations using the formula, and then I put his email there as well, and he did provide the bill to go along with it. And there has not been water adjustments on that account in 8 times before, so as per policy.
Okay, I don't know if the trustees have read all that stuff yet, but I would just note that the email that Joe sent was a little different than the proposal, the request that he made online or on Zoom, because he mentions in the email that that the meter just failed. It's not that there was damage to it. It just failed. That his position is strongly laid out in his email that it's the village meter that caused the problem. He didn't really say it that way, at least to my judgment, when he was in front of us. But that's the only difference I noticed, because then looking at the eligibility for forgiveness on your formula, it doesn't exactly cover that, but that's one thing to consider. In other words, he wants a larger relief than the formula would tend to yield.
What I took from him being in the Zoom last week was that he wanted full relief, because, and I felt like he was saying that it was the village's.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
He did say that he wanted full relief, but
yeah.
But he said it stronger, I guess, in the email now. Saying
for some reason I cannot being able to find the email, so that's me still looking for it.
He clearly wanted to bring the bill back down to what it has been the last 2 billings, which is $228, and have no extra expense to his side whatsoever.
For those of you that can't find the email, I'll just read this one sentence. It did not occur as a result of any malfunction of my equipment, not from frozen pipes, not from old age, not from construction, etc. This is solely caused by the village meter failing. I really don't feel I should be responsible for this. That's where he's coming from.
I would think that who's responsible for the water meter? Is it the?
It's I believe it's the resident, to be honest.
It's on the homeowner's
Yep,
side of the shutoff valve, so it's the homeowner's.
it
That's
is.
where our
Right.
regulations read.
What makes his situation different is that the meter itself is buried underground. It's not the case with most meters, I don't believe, in the, in our system.
His actual meter is underground?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I did not realize that.
He had the pictures of all that corrosion there. You remember last meeting, and it's those mobile homes over on River Road that he owns and rents out, and I guess they've always been underground.
What was the, may I ask, I see that I'm looking at one of the emails and it says that in February and in May, he read it 3,200 units a gallon. What was it running beforehand?
His bill actually is $228 for the last 2 times. And that's what he wanted it to be back to. And this time it was $575.
Okay. And with ours, it would be $307. And what did you say, 282 or 228?
28.
Okay.
228. He wanted to go back to 228. According to our formula, the forgiveness is only 307.83.
It's about like a $90 difference or something.
So why is his meter buried? Like, is that something that we can check? Because obviously, wouldn't that make the damage? Wouldn't it sustain more damage underground, like from the elements, or no?
I with being trailers, I don't know. That's a question for Scott more than anything. But being with trailers, it could be a problem because it's all open under a trailer, and it could freeze up. I may be wrong.
Oh no, absolutely. Usually they have some sort of heating tape or something underneath a trailer.
Bob, you look like you were going to say something.
I just think that it's probably underground because the developer of the park wanted to protect them from freezing. That would be my guess. When somebody joins the water system, there is a fee to join the water system, which includes a water meter being,
Correct.
I don't know whether you want to say sold to them or whatever. And I just think we need to be really careful here about saying that this is the village's fault when it's on the homeowner's side, because we stick to that.
And he really, I agree, Bob, because he's really saying it's our water meter, and it's not our water meter, it's his water meter.
I know we have specific water meters we use because the guys have to be able to have consistency and not have to figure out how to read 100 different meters. People can't just install their own meters. But is it, I don't know. I think this is very fraught with precedent-setting difficulties.
And looking at his email, he paid $100 for a service technician to repair the meter?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes.
Why would he do that and not contact us?
I thought he did contact. Yeah, I was just going to say that.
He paid the repair.
It's in the regs.
To have that
Got
done.
to show proof of repair.
Oh, I just figured, is that something, I didn't know if that was something that our DPW guys would be.
No, he has to show
involved in.
proof of repair according to our policies and everything, and as well as not having in the last 8 billings. But also, when Scott was out doing the readings, he said to him, "Hey, and the communication was there between Scott and Joe that his meter reading was really high." So that's when they had the conversation. So at the same time, it was like they were both doing something at the same time of it.
Okay.
So.
But he paid someone to install that new cover, but not new, it's
The
a
used
cover. Yeah, but I think he got that from the village.
He
For
did.
free.
He got it from the village. Scott
For free.
provided it for him. Yes.
Well,
Right, so he didn't have to buy a new meter.
No, well, the village always replaces meters.
Right. And he spent 2 hours basically. This repair guy spent 2 hours, and it's $50 an hour. That's basically what the bill is.
So I kind of feel like in the email that he's letting us know that it's used, like it's going to go bad again soon and he's going to have to go through this again. And I don't know how to fix that. Like I feel like he thinks that this is going to happen again and he's going to be right back here. And yes, we provided him with one used, but somehow that's going to come back to us again because again, it's going to be quote unquote our meter. Do you understand what I'm saying? Am I crazy?
It seems that's the
No,
question.
I think we all understand that, but I think under the circumstances, I don't think his argument is as strong as he thinks it is.
I'm with you, Dave.
I'm thinking, but probably in the spirit of, I mean, we've always, his village has a history of bending over backwards for users. And we certainly do that, but I think in this instance, it might be wisest just to use the formula that the board developed recently, I guess, and go with that.
So I agree with that, but I think we also need to let him, I think there's a misunderstanding somewhere where he believes that those are our water meters, and really he paid for that water meter. It's his, and it's his responsibility to upkeep it. And I think we need to make sure he knows that even though we provided him with a used plate to put on it to help repair it for a lesser amount of money, that you know, he should be watching that. That's not necessarily ours to watch.
Well, we can have Scott talk to him about that. Scott's the expert, and I agree that we have to address that somehow.
So is that a motion? Am I wrong in hearing?
Oh no, I'll move that. I'll move it that we follow the procedures that we've just set forth are new.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, I'll call the vote. Bob,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Danielle,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes as well. So, Linda, that one's done. Now we'll go on to Aubrey. Aubrey, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Aubrey owns the weathered thread over here on Railroad Street and has a proposal that she brought in on Monday. I think you all have copies of it. But she has proposed to close down part of Railroad Street, the part 201 feet of the road in front of her business for the period on Saturday, this coming Saturday, from 9 until 2. And Aubrey, I'll let you go forward with this, however you want to present it to the board.
Okay, sure. I figured I would like pop on here so everybody can like put a face to the name.
That's all right.
Yeah, I dropped off my proposal for David, I think on Monday or Tuesday. It's pretty simple in like the nature of what I'm trying to do. Going back a year, we did a market inside the building, which used to be Grandma's Pretties right next door, which has since closed down. And obviously with everything going on, I didn't even want to attempt to do anything inside. But we've got right now 24 local, I call them creators. These aren't like craft fair type people. These are like artisans. They're making furniture and signs and soaps and candles and all sorts of really cool stuff. So there's 24 of them right now. Basically the plan would be just to close down that, it's about 201 feet worth of street right there from the stop sign right kind of in front of the village offices to, I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with the building, but it goes kind of right up to where the ramp going to Upstate Merch comes in. It's not even the entire length of the building. And just shutting down that portion so we can block out 10 by 10 spaces for each one of these vendors. And they're kind of like they would be ping-ponged across the street to make sure there's more than enough space in between each individual 10 by 10 space, allow for social distancing and make sure everybody has ample space to move around and all that sort of good stuff. It's from 9 to 2. Yeah, it's like I said, it's all local folks. They've been working really hard on all of their on all of their stuff, and people are pretty excited about it. I know shutting down a portion of the street, it's kind of, I don't want to say off the beaten path, but there's not a ton of traffic that we get through there, at least on the weekends, because the village offices are closed, and people aren't out working. So that's the general gist. I don't know if anybody has questions.
Before they may, but before, thank you, Aubrey, but before I open it up to their comments, I want to mention some other things. They, I think, got a copy of your plan, but I want to, you've also said that the owners of the Mason Union building and the White Garage have been notified and approved the use of their property for parking and or, you know, to use their property however you see fit. The safety guidelines that you mentioned are great. The vendors and so on. What you're asking us to do is to close off that portion of the street. And I talked to our public works guys. The barricades could be put in place, as you mentioned and requested. And but there's one sticking point. You also wanted permission to direct attendees to park in the village office lot if necessary. Two things. It's not a village office lot. The town it's the town lot.
Sure.
Okay. So we had to approach the town. They absolutely they will not approve any use of their property, which includes the grass lot across the street on the other side of the fence. So
Right.
we can't have anybody parking there. Or then the other point being that the state police have to have,
Right.
so they, it's the town's jurisdiction in that. It's the village's jurisdiction, the village board's jurisdiction. We could close the street down, okay? But the town isn't too happy about it anyway, but I'll just mention that. And Nate, I understand that you heard about this earlier, and you also recommended what now? You said you had some thoughts on this, right, Nate? Is Nate still here?
He's still here, but he's still muted.
Oh, sorry.
Did
I
you
was
did you
I was
did you
still
hear
muted.
did you hear what I said, Nate? That you had some thoughts on this, and you can chime in now with those thoughts.
Yes. Yep. So I think my only concern heard that the town had some concerns about trooper access was if the board is to
Yes,
cons-
there is another way that they. I mean, it's not totally closed, just the one way. That one street they couldn't go out that way. They'd have to go down Liberty Street and out that way.
okay.
And by the way, I did talk to the supervisor a short while ago and had a nice discussion with him. He agrees that the village has the street jurisdiction and the town has their property jurisdiction, as I explained it. That's how he put it. But I wanted to hear what your take on it was, Nate.
I apologize. My connection just completely blanked out for the past 10 seconds.
Things happen.
So I do apologize. Could you repeat what you just said?
Oh, basically, I just wanted to hear your take on the situation. And you indicated you had heard what the supervisor had concerns. I just wanted to know if you had concerns and what they would be.
Only the trooper access. I think the village has authority, like you've already indicated, to close a street off, to issue a temporary street closing permit, like what's being contemplated. The way when Linda and I had talked about it earlier and she was describing the town supervisor's concern, I had envisioned that there was just no way for the troopers to get out. But I think that's alleviated now that I understand there would be at least one way out. It's still something that you might want to consider confirming with the troopers that they don't have any concerns or issues with access to their facility during this festival or
If the
market.
board approves this tonight, I intend to talk to the troopers tomorrow. We're doing everything at the 11th hour. I also would talk to Dollar General because they're technically supposed to have a truck route for deliveries that would take trucks out on Academy Street, out on Liberty Street, and out on Railroad Street. It turns out their practice lately has been haphazard at best, and I don't even know if they have Saturday deliveries. So we give me a chance to talk to them about what they're supposed to be doing, but indicating they'd have to, work around the closure for those few hours. Now, our building address is Liberty Street. The driveway comes out into Liberty Street. That Liberty Street would be totally open. That's the way that the troopers would go if they had to go for those hours. Railroad Street is a few feet away going another direction. But anyway, that makes
Right. So my recommendation then, if there's two ways to pass the resolution if you want to approve it. One is to simply approve it with no contingencies, and then the other is to approve the closure contingent on perhaps the trooper barracks, the captain or whoever it is there, indicating there's no concerns from the troopers with access. That would be the only thing I would think to add as a contingency on that. And that way, if the troopers did say there's a real issue with their ingress and egress, then that would put a stop to the permit at that point.
okay. That's very clear. So now I'll open it up to the board members who might want to make a comment or have questions regarding this. Anybody?
I have a quick question. The time again, Aubrey, and the date on that is when? It's
Correct.
Saturday?
Yep, it's this Saturday, the 15th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, from 9 to 2.
9 to 2.
So technically, we would probably need the public works to put barricades up at, for that section. I would say probably no later than 7 a.m. just to give these folks ample time to get set up and feel comfortable and make sure everybody is got their masks on and their hand sanitizer and they're
Okay.
comfortable.
Yeah, because that's good to know, just so that we can give a heads up if we do decide to vote on it right now or this evening, how much time frame we need to give the state troopers of when that's going to be closed off, that area.
Sure.
And it would probably be a couple hours after the
Sure.
scheduled too, right? So probably 7 to 4 or 7 to 5.
Probably not that late. They're normally, depending on how these sort of things go, people tend to sell out of their wares pretty quickly. So by the time 2 o'clock rolls around, a lot of them have already kind of started packing up a little bit. It usually only takes them maybe 30 to 45 minutes to get all of their stuff back in their vehicles. And
So you might only need an hour on the back side of it. Okay.
and
What about on
have that
Aubrey?
time constraint? Even if I said, listen, you got to be packed up, we got to go. You have 60 minutes, they'll make it happen.
Right. Okay.
What are the chances, Aubrey? What are the chances of reducing the time on the front end to an hour as well? Could they get set up in an hour on the front end, 8 o'clock?
Maybe. My only hesitation with that is I know, so we have one vendor, our local guy, Terry Dean, who he just retired from the school. He makes handmade stuff like out of reclaimed oak. So he's got like really big pieces. It's going to take him probably more than an hour just to get everything there and kind of situated. If that's what we have to do, I will do it, whatever we have to do. But if we can make it a little bit more than an hour, I know that would make the vendors feel a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more prepared, but I'll do whatever needs to be done.
Very good. Any more comments or questions?
None here.
None, no.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think it's a good idea. I think
So
it'll
do
make-
I.
Well,
And
I think it's a great idea for community, unity. I do think so.
Mhm.
But we just have to be careful with these parameters that have been mentioned.
So I just wonder, Aubrey, now knowing that we can't use the town lot, what are you gonna try to do for parking then? Will there be enough in those other two places for you? And all the vendors' vehicles and,
Right. Honestly, I think there'll be more than enough. So Steve Harvey, who owns the Masons Union building, the yellow one, it used to be Frank Bianco's building. So they're not there on Saturdays. I spoke to him. He said, you're more than welcome to use that for
Okay.
parking, whatever you need to do. And then the kind of garage that's right across the street from the shop, that's Lou Stillo's building. There's a little bit of parking surrounding that area too. So, I mean, I think we have plenty of parking, and then there's Upstate Merch. They have their parking area too. They're closed on Saturdays, so there's nobody in that lot. And then we have kind of down the remainder of Railroad Street, I think on the left-hand side, if you're looking down towards Main Street. I think it'll be more than enough.
okay,
The only reason I mentioned the village offices parking lot was because I knew that people would probably try to go there. If I think back to like our Christmas market that we did, back whenever.
I would expect most traffic to be approaching from Main Street anyway.
Yep.
And like you said, the Harvey building, that's a very big lot,
Mhm.
especially if the puddle dries up.
Correct.
Do we need to take any precautions to prevent people from parking in the town lot?
I was just wondering that because if somebody parks in the town lot, it could cause issue.
But here's the dilemma also. If you block it from people pulling in, you're also blocking it from the state troopers getting
Right.
out.
So that's not a really legitimate idea.
Unless you put up signs.
We could put signage.
Signs, yeah, no parking in the
Right.
town village lot, yeah.
I have no
Um,
problem.
We'll have our code enforcement guy coming in for Saturday hours at some point anyway. Not Ken, but David, the second guy. And on a regular stray day, in like a Saturday, there's certain people come in and park there that nobody knows what they're there for. They might be looking to see if something, if the town is open or village or something. But basically, you're right that it's the ingress and egress of the state police vehicles, which may not need to do anything, but we don't know. We have
And
to
I
leave it
no problem
available.
Putting it out there. I mean, I'm right now with social media and everything. Most of our following is on social media. I do very little advertising. So a lot of this has come from word of mouth, the people that are going to be attending. So I also have no problem including that, like as a highlighted section, being like, listen, absolutely no parking in the village office parking lot. And I
Town
have
office.
say the town office.
The town
town
office.
office. We don't have to use
Yeah.
that.
So
Blame it on the
it's not us
town.
that are putting the kibosh on it.
Town office. And then I have, family members and people who are going to be there helping anyway that are going to be outside. So if I have to stick someone over on that end to specifically deter people from not even going in there if they don't belong there, I can do that too.
That's great. Any other comments, questions? I would like somebody to make a motion, either one of the two ways that Nate said, either just do it the way it's requested, or if you want to have a contingency, you could have that in there. But somebody come up with a motion and we'll go from there.
I would move that we would go forward with just using the village's discretion, as long as we tell the state police what the situation is. I don't know. Are we sure that we want to put a contingency and put this entire decision upon state police with this? They do have in and out. They do have,
I feel like as long as they have a way to get in and out, there's not a lot they can.
right. For
Be
expedience
opposed to.
sake and to make sure that this goes off, one day in a 6-hour window, and giving them heads up and talking to them and say, this is the situation. We're trying to be business friendly and community friendly in a tough time here. And so this window is what we'd like.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds good. I mean, I agree with that thinking. Do you want to frame it as a motion with particular hours?
What did we talk? 9 to 2 was the operating, and we wanted 2 hours in front and 1 hour in back. That's what Aubrey was hoping. So that would be 7 to 3, would it be?
Yes.
So I'll move that we from 7 to 3 o'clock, we use the village's discretion, and that we inform the state police of what the situation is and let them know.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, I'll call the vote.
Right, can I ask one more question?
Yes, you can.
Are we set with our village guys getting those things there? Do they know?
I've talked to Scott. He doesn't know about 7 yet because, no, we were talking 9 to 2. But he's happy to do that. They've got a barrier they could do. It's mostly cone stuff, but you can connect. But that stuff, what he's going to get with, if this is approved, he'll get with Aubrey. And what could happen is, okay, I'll set it up for you in the morning, and then, but maybe just set it aside when, and the pickup, some of that stuff could just be set aside. But that's something he's going to work out with Aubrey.
Okay.
It's a manpower issue.
I know he has to come down, or somebody has to come down to check the water system and stuff in the morning. He's probably planning on
Yes.
coordinating those two things
Yes.
together. And that's a good idea, I think, David, about if this were to end, Aubrey, just, work out with him, set the stuff aside and some of your family there, and make sure you have Scott's number to let him know.
Okay.
Yes.
Any other comments before I call
Thank
the
you,
vote?
Mr. Mayor.
Okay. So now I'll call the vote on the motion. Bob,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Danielle,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes. Okay, so the way it stands, Aubrey, is you have the board approval to shut that down. I think the weather's going to cooperate as well on Saturday, and we wish you all the success in the world. Like I said, Scott will get with you on the exact details, such as we discussed. I'll get with the state police and Dollar General and tell them what's going on and bring them in the loop. And if you need me or I need you, we know where to get each other, right?
Sounds good.
Very cool.
Okay, are you there, Aubrey?
Yeah, she said yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear much, but that's all right. So we're done with that item. You're welcome to stay on, Aubrey, but we're going to
Good
go
luck,
to.
Aubrey.
I bet Aubrey's leaving.
I'm out of here.
Okay.
Oh, why? I can't
Come
imagine
on,
why.
this is so much fun.
It's only so much
Come
fun.
on.
Be a snows.
Okay, very good.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank
Take
you.
it
Now
easy, Aubrey.
we're going to the reports part of the meeting, and the first report, Nate, is from you, the attorney's report.
Yep. So just an update on that broom or the fairground sign application. Everything's been sent off to the county for review. They've asked some detailed questions about the digital sign that I've forwarded on to Ken. Ken is in the process of answering those or getting input from the applicant. But like I was talking with Linda earlier today, I think we're in a position to schedule the public hearings for the special use permit, and the zoning board will also need to meet to consider an area variance, but we're in a position to schedule those for the first meeting in September. So it's sometime tonight. I would appreciate a motion for the village board to schedule a public hearing on the application for a special permit.
No time like the present. We can schedule that. We can have a motion to schedule that right now, and then you can give if there's more of your report, we'll hear that. But let's do this motion now. May I have a motion that Nate indicated we needed to move this sign situation forward?
Well, Now, do we have to approve this sign, or is this all completely up to the zoning board?
The village board is responsible for issuing a special use permit for the sign. The
Okay.
zone would be considering the granting of an area variance for the size. So the zoning board will actually meet first. If they deny the area variance for whatever reason, then there won't be any action for the village board that evening. But if the zoning board approves the variance, then it's squarely in front of the village board for a special use permit.
Okay, so we're not approving tonight. We're just passing it on.
Right, we're just scheduling it. And the thing is, as Nate just explained, if the zoning board says they're the lead dog really on this, if they say no, then it's a moot point.
Okay.
Correct.
So we're just scheduling this. We're looking for a motion to do that.
I'll move
move
whatever
it.
Dave said.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second if Bob moved it.
Okay, I'll call the vote. Bob,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Danielle,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and I'll say yes. Okay, very good. Nate, do you have any more to report?
Nope, that was the only real action item at this point.
Okay. Okay, Linda, you're on.
You all had the copy of the report on Dropbox for the month. I also wanted to make you all aware that the water billing for the last period actually was down again. So we may be in trouble again with water sales, water usage. So just so you all know, just make you aware. I mean, we're only in the first quarter, so we'll see what it comes out to be.
Isn't everybody home? You'd think they'd be using a ton of water.
Well, you also lost all your commercial sales.
No school
Yeah.
usage.
You have no
Yeah,
school
that's true.
usage. The restaurants are way down. I mean, it is what it
They're
is,
the big, yeah, the restaurants are the big water users.
right? And no school. Some people were up a lot because of pools, but the businesses were enough to drive it. So it was down across all the different accounts, all the different districts. On a happier note, I did receive notification that we should be getting our reimbursement for the DASNY grant, the SAM grant, soon, and not have to wait the 4 to 6 months that they were originally talking. So, which would be nice to put it back in our reserve where it belongs.
That'd be good.
It's all I have.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Linda. Report from the code enforcement officer. Did you get something in the Dropbox from that? Okay. Any comments on code enforcement? I'll be meeting with Ken on Monday night, I believe. So keep you posted on the goings on there. We've gotten the dog control report. Any comments about dog control? Fire department. Now, did we get that report?
We did not, but I know that looking at what he had submitted to the towns, fire department, Bob, as you can probably attest, has had a very busy month in the month of July with different things like an extradition from a rescue, a burning fire, building fire, a couple building fires, motor vehicle accidents, false alarm, a building fire, smoke detector activation, road freight or transport vehicle fires. So they've had a very busy month. So that.
Okay, I guess that's good for now. Anybody else have any questions regarding or comments regarding the fire department? Okay, move to Public Works report. I know the guys have been busy catching up on weed control and things of that nature. You've got the reports.
I got to meet Josh when I took some stuff down to the.
Yes. Yeah, he's a
compost.
nice guy.
He's a very
Josh
nice
is,
guy, and I was really impressed because he told me that he noticed that Dallas Cowboy star behind Mr. Hakes' head when he was on Zoom with us last month and was appalled.
I was gonna say he's not gonna hold that against us, is he?
Oh, thank goodness he didn't. He saw my Giants hat right away and
Oh, good, good.
I got
good.
more.
Ready to
Look
go.
at who's watching over me, Bob.
It'll be
Tom
Bogart, right?
Landry. No, oh, that blasphemy.
Well, any case, Josh is a good guy. I met him and I've talked to him a few times, and he's I'm glad he's part of the team. Okay, the sewer, basically, Jeff said he really didn't have much to report. I guess that's kind of good news from what I've heard of recent history. So we'll move to old business. I could start with some old business. Some of the items on the last session we've dealt with. You recall that we approved the window removal and replacement on the corner of Main Street and Collins, and that happened. It's done. Those windows are out. The old ones are out. The new ones are in, and we're waiting for more progress there. We put Mr. Johnson in touch with Rich Cunningham at Toma, and he's trying to decide if he wants to stay as part of the Restore New York program. And Rich was working on him on that because it might be reduced, but in any case, we're moving forward one way or another, and that's good. The other thing that was on my mind, we had to get the levee conduit inspections done. We were under the gun on that because they've been waiting several years for us to do it, and it needed to be done for DEC, so DEC could present it to Army Corps by September 22nd. And if we didn't have those inspections done, we would have gotten black marks all over the place. It wouldn't have been good for a number of reasons. Point being, those inspections were done. Scott lined up 2 different contractors that worked together, and there were 6 conduit inspections in total. They were done. We're just waiting for the reports, but the inspections were done. Everything seemed to go well. And so we will get that in under the wire, and we'll all be happy. So I'm glad that worked out. That was a priority. Also, we're working on the, we talked to code enforcement about the abandoned vehicles that have popped up in the municipal parking lot. There's not too much to report on that, but Nate, I guess David Conklin is going to be, or maybe already has talked to you about that issue. So stay tuned for developments. That's all we need to say about that right now. That pretty much is my take on old business. Does anybody else have anything on old business? If not, does anybody have any new business?
David, you gonna bring up about the fairgrounds and what the fair is doing?
What? Who were you talking to, Linda? I couldn't hear.
You, David, are you gonna
Okay.
bring up about what we found out that the fair is doing?
We just found out, this was brought to our attention within the last hour that, yeah, the Gillette company that typically run midway rides and things like this has set up something for this weekend at the fairgrounds. We knew nothing about this. We've reached out to our code enforcement officer to take, you need a permit. You need a permit typically from our village code enforcement officer. Since the office doesn't know anything about that. It's not likely they reached out to Ken, but it's supposed to be taking place this weekend. There's food vendors out there and so on and so forth. And we want to make sure the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, but we don't know much about it at this point. But we will get to the bottom of it.
Is this the thing that's drive-through fair food?
Yep.
I've seen something on the news about it at one of the other.
They
fair
actually did it in Afton a couple weekends ago, and we actually drove through. It was actually kind of interesting.
Is this going to be busy enough? We need to get the fire department involved?
It was not that busy in Afton, but that's Afton. And they have a lot of room in the fairgrounds here in Whitney Point. So, like, the way that they do it, there's only like 10 to 12 different vendors, and then the cars line up and go through it. And you pick the vendor that you want to vend from, and then you do your business directly with them. So if they lined up along like where the cars could drive, there's quite a bit of space for that to take place. You could get quite a bit of vehicles in there.
Well, I'm sure it's doable from a physical standpoint, but there's rules and regulations that they have to go through.
Oh, no, I absolutely agree.
Right, and so we want to make sure. If we can get them to do that in the next few days and not, nobody wants to, be a bad guy and shut things down, but we have to reach out.
Yeah. No, you would think that the fair company is the one that had to reach out to them to even get them to come.
Well,
so the fair board.
We're asking Ken to get in touch with Mr. Cornell, who's the fair president,
Okay.
and that's the way to do it. So we'll keep you posted, but I thank you for reminding me, Linda. I kind of forgotten about that thing in the last hour or so.
Everybody goes for the funnel cakes at the same time. We could be backed up all the way to the exit. It'd be, ooh.
It'll be like Dunkin' Donuts
Uh-oh.
every morning at 8 o'clock.
Wait till school starts.
I know, seriously, we're going to need the fire department for that. It's getting out of control.
Yeah, it is.
Well, we'll see what's needed and see what we have to do.
I've seen people pulling into McCullough's apartment parking lot now to get off the road for Dunkin'.
I just drive by and do a little hot lap and then come back. They usually go away.
Okay, any other new business? Well, there being no other new business, and this has been fun, but we can shut it down. So I'm going to adjourn this meeting. Thank you all for coming, first of all, and we will continue to move forward and keep you posted. So, this is over. So enjoy the rest of the night. This meeting is adjourned.
Good night, guys.
Have a great night, guys.
Good night.